Warning. The following video will contain language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised. Also, we'll be talking about some controversial subject matter about what's supposed to be happening coming up in September 2015, including the possible economic collapse of the U.S. dollar, the event on the Jewish calendar known as Shemitah, as well as other things in the Muslim faith, as well as the possibility of a comet that may be striking Earth, all coinciding with things like the last blood moon of the year and other various things. So, it's going to be a bit controversial. If any of this bothers you, stop watching now. For those of you that are remaining, hey guys, Dave here. And before I get started, I want you to think about something. Have you ever really been afraid of someone or something? I mean, deathly afraid. You heard a lot of stories about that. You had a bad experience, and in your mind, you built up all these possibilities of what could happen if you encounter these things. So it becomes so powerful, so dangerous, so threatening that you don't want to go near it. You feel like you have no strength or power to deal with it. But if somehow you manage the courage to see this thing or person up close and see it for what it really is, and you manage to take back that bit of fear, you realize that it wasn't really as bad or as scary or as dangerous as you thought it was going to be. The greatest fear and power that this thing had over you was what you gave it. And if you just see it for what it is, you can take it back. I'd like you to keep that in mind. See, I've been seeing a slew of things starting to come together. I made a video earlier, a while back, after seeing a video about a woman making a proclaim that a 2.5 mile wide comet is supposed to be smacking into Earth sometime in September. It's supposed to be correlating with various rituals, various parts on calendar and celestial events. The last blood moon, the International Day of Peace is coming up. Old Judeo-Christian religious things, as well as, I believe, the Jewish calendar marking the Shemitah. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, what's going on is she believes that this thing is coming, but when she tries to reveal her information, she gets it from an ex-military guy, but can't reveal the name of the comet, and it's not going to show up on any star charts or anything from a telescope because, well, it's a big cover-up, and they're hiding it from you. Okay, this woman, who I'm not bothering to give out her name, but if you do some searching you can find her, is a known Christian author and conspiracy theorist. She writes books along the same line of Left Behind and stuff like that. So she's saying that something bad's going to happen, but is unable to give us any kind of proof because it's all covered up and hidden. So all we have to do is take her word on faith alone about this coming to pass. Yeah, I'm a big conspiracy guy too, but this is rocky. It's shaky. I'm calling bullshit. So, nice try, lady. Also, another big thing that I saw, there's a guy who's apparently a multimillionaire who got in a lot of investments into the internet as well as Bitcoin. And recently this week I came across his website talking about something called Shemitah, which, if you don't know, is a 7-year period on the Jewish calendar that begins and ends in September every 7 years. It's kind of, the exact date's kind of iffy because it's a little bit different here and there, but essentially the dates kind of line, he points out that the dates line up for it's every 7 years, so a big event always happens in September. The original stock market crashes. 9/11, of course, happening around that time. The economic collapse in 2008 all happened. Both was going on in Germany in 1937 or 38, depending on where they're counting on it. 37, I believe. And then in 1945, when the World War II ended. All this is supposed to be building up to that. But here's the funny thing. He's talking about how he's not going to be anywhere near the U.S. because there are signs not only of Jade Helm, the big military exercise going on, which there's always a big exercise leading up to a big thing, but Cheyenne Mountain's been opened up, so NORAD can hide in there in case of an EMP. There's a lot of things talking about the Federal Reserve moving from New York to Chicago because they're afraid of a possible attack that might be happening. The Pope is coming. All these things are lining up that something horrible is going to happen in September. He talks about even talking about, I've seen the things that, the world's going to have a big collapse, everything's going bad, look at Greece, look at all this, and take a look at, Puerto Rico and things like that. And they talk about how all this is building up. I've seen these things before. I've seen them online for years, all talking about the best thing to do, invest in gold, check this out over here, this, that. And he has a website, surviveshemitah.com. However, if you click on it to try to find out how you can personally survive Shemitah, nothing. The website is a blank page. There's nothing there. Now, if this guy is really serious about warning people about this, but then giving no information, I'm sorry, but it feels like we're being punked. It's the same thing with the woman that's insisting that the comet's coming, but she can't tell us the name or where it's located. It's just kind of hidden. See, it reminds me of a comic book series called Hero Hotline. There was a guy in there named Voiceover who was a bit of a comedian. He did voices, impressions, and stuff like, so I respected him. But he was also a ventriloquist. And his best friend was named Fred, who was invisible and intangible. He couldn't really walk through walls or stuff, but no one could actually touch him. So people were, convinced somehow that he was actually real, but he could just as well be a ventriloquist given illusion. So the only thing we could really do is to give it up on faith and trust the guy telling us that the invisible voice is real. I'm seeing that with the woman talking about the comet. I'm seeing that with the guy warning about Shemitah. Getting, apparently since the Mayan calendar of 2012 didn't end in disaster, everyone's jumping on the new bandwagon. The new bandwagon is the Jewish calendar. Why the hell not? If something good happens, yay, that it's proof that Judeo-Christian God exists. If something bad happens, well, people have hated the Jews for centuries, so why not make it more controversial? But there's nothing there. It's a lot of hype, it's a lot of talk, but there's no substance. It makes you feel like a multimillionaire is punking us, telling us to take faith on something we believe, but take it from him or her for the comet. So I gotta say, dude, for coming up with Survive Shemitah, for being, rather absent in any real answers there, I just want to congratulate you on trying to start a new wave of paranoia, panic, and anti-Semitism. Fuck off! Good God. See, the part that really gets me, and I went through the whole thing with the December 2012, people were worried that something either big and great was going to happen or something horrible was going to occur. And nothing seemed to. If people put a lot of faith and belief in something, some people could get too excited and maybe make it a self-fulfilling prophecy. If they believe that rioting is going to happen or whatever, then they might feel obliged to jump off and try to make this an actual occurrence. And that's what really scares me. I see these two people out in front of this new wave of propaganda and fear-mongering, and people are drinking the damn Kool-Aid here. They are so worried. A lot of people were saying, they checked into survivalist stuff. For people who are buying up all kind of survival supplies, long-term food, MREs. A lot of preppers are getting this stuff, and they're flying off the shelves. Something's happening. And there are people that have intuitions that say they feel like something is coming, but no one knows what. I'm all for intuition. Believe me, I am. But intuition can only go so far. It can keep you from getting on a plane that's going to go down. It can keep you from going to a building that might collapse on itself. It can give you a heads up that something is going to happen, but you've got to follow through with your brain. You've got to process it. Okay, what is this telling me? What am I trying to be afraid of? What is it doing? The problem is, without a real amount of actual information, I'm seeing people being prepped to panic and to fear but no real direction. And that scares the shit out of me. I've gone through depression a long time. I've gone through suicidal thoughts. I recognize this stuff. When people watch The Walking Dead and stuff like that, and they would actually rather have a real-life zombie apocalypse or some event that shuts down civilization as we know it, rather than go to work on Monday or have to deal with the crap that is their life. There's a problem there. There's an inherent problem. I'm seeing people that want the apocalypse to happen because they feel like they want something so big, so powerful to come along against all their fighting and all their saying, no, 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 I don't want this. They want the feeling of like a parental unit to come. They want to hurt so big that a mommy or daddy can come and take the pain away, to make everything all right, to make the world make sense again when it doesn't. I get that. But when that doesn't happen, we got to rely on ourselves. We got to rely on each other. No matter what your faith is, my personal thing is right now, I believe in humanity. I believe that, yeah, we've screwed up. We make mistakes. But I also believe in the good things we've accomplished. I believe in the knowledge we've gained. The leaps and bounds in personal relations and spiritual growth and all kind of things that we've done, that we've gotten bigger and better. We're still fumbling, but we're still getting better along the way. I believe in that because I can prove it. I've seen it. It's a fact. And the best thing about facts are that they are real and they exist, whether you believe them or not. I believe in humanity. I believe we can overcome certain things if we get our shit together. But I'm seeing this apocalyptic drive. Everyone knows the world sucks. And I can understand going into the fantasy world and looking at an unreal world because the real one bites so hard. But people want the end of the world so they can somehow escape the crap that they're feeling. It's like no matter where you grew up, what faith you were raised in by geographical location or family, whatever it is, everyone's hoping that something ends so that it can play the spiritual lottery and see who's right all along, who comes out on top. And that scares me because that is akin to mass murder, suicide mentality. People want to die. They want the end of the world to happen, or they want to survive, but do they really want everything that they know to fall apart? Or do they just want to be on some level of one-upmanship? See, that's the part that scares the shit out of me. People would rather watch the world burn and hope that somehow, if they're not among the millions that die from ravages or whatever, if they survive, then they're on top and they can claim superiority over everyone that fell. If your goal for survival in the worst possible apocalyptic scenarios that might come about, if your thought isn't just survival of yourself, your friends, your family, and trying to rebuild the human race, but if you are all about that one-upmanship of somehow surviving the worst possible thing you can imagine, and then standing on top of the pile of ashes, you're part of the problem. Because then it's not about withstanding and saving the best of humanity and getting through to the other side. You want to be on top of that pile of ashes, and you want to feel good about yourself. You want to be on top of the freaking pyre, and you want to come. And not just come. You want to come hard, and you want to come righteously, because if you survived all this, then God says it's okay. Go ahead. Bust a nut or get your full frontal stink finger on. You earned it. Really? That's part of the problem. That mentality is part of the problem. You have all this power right now. You have choices. You as people can get up. You can make your voices heard. You can vote. If something is corrupt, you can make your voices heard. You can take action to stop it. You can do things. We have this power. But we have been shit on. We've been stomped over so many ways. We know that a lot of governments are corrupt, but we don't vote them out. If we try to, suddenly we're just shout it down like we're rowdy children instead of actually trying to fix anything. And that bothers me, because we have the power to do so much. And if we believe certain things, we put so much faith or energy or fear into something, it can become real to us. We can make something happen. But if you believe too much in things, if you believe so much in the fear and the apprehension, and you worry too much, you're feeding it. And that becomes the worst thing to you, because it's like a fetish. You've given power over something else over you. Something else has the reins. Something else has the control. In a BDSM relationship, there's a power exchange thing, and a person can have whatever the heck done to them, but there's a safe word. You say that safe word, the person knows, okay, this has to stop right now. You let this person go, you make sure they're okay, and you don't cross that line, because if you do, you're fucked, and you know that you're not getting their trust back. What's the safe word for how fucked up the world is right now? I'm saying it right now. The safe word is, fuck this! So guys, if you have an intuition or thoughts about something that's happening soon, I'm not knocking you. I'm really not. If you have belief that something is coming, do the math. Use your head, follow through the steps, take care of yourself. But with the guys that are pointing out the Comet, or, Shemitah, and all this economic collapse, all this shit, all I see is fear-mongering for the sake of fear-mongering to punk people. They're getting people worked up, and they're not using discussion to find out ways to fix it. They're just doing it to get people riled up for the sake of fear-mongering and maybe to make a profit off of it. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if the guy that started this whole thing about Shemitah and got into Bitcoin, I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually invested heavily in ammunition, MREs, and survival gear, because they're making money right now. Whatever happens in September, guys, don't panic, because that is the worst thing. Follow through with your head. If you're afraid of something, look at it. Break it down. Dissect it with your mind and all your senses. Try to figure it out. Break it down. See every component that drives you nuts about it. And if people are keeping things intentionally vague, well, there might be a problem there. Do your own homework. Because that way, if you're doing the work and you're doing the research, then you're the one responsible for the knowledge coming to you. So, check them out. I mean, CERN supercollider is coming. Supposedly, a Muslim person of key instruments, a powerful black man will rise up to take power over the Western world. Okay. We have a lot of things going on. A lot of people are feeling that something is coming. But intuition without guidance could lead to panic. And that's wrong, guys. I'm saying, follow your heart, follow your gut, but follow your head too. You've got to balance the two. Don't become your own worst enemy. I'm sure if you take a close look at all the stuff that's going on and everything that people seem to be afraid of, there are certain things you can prepare for, other things that are completely out of control, and other things that are so unlikely that who knows what's going to happen. We're trading up the Jewish calendar because the Mayan calendar didn't bring about the apocalypse. People want this to happen. And that's the problem. If the world is so bad, we can fix it now. We can at least try to. We can talk about it. We can have a dialogue. We can discuss. We can try to fix things, not just try to force our wills onto other people. And that's what it's about, guys. So trust me. I know what it's like to look into the abyss. And I'm seeing a lot of people looking, and they're freaking the fuck out. You don't have to. I believe in humanity. If you're watching this, I believe in you. I believe you can use your head and your heart. Match your intuition with your intellect. Figure this stuff out. You can make the right decisions. I know people say that they'd rather be punished than humiliated, because embarrassment seems just really too cruel. May 5th, 2000, that was supposed to be a doomsday of a conjunction. That didn't happen. Between 1994 and 1999, it was predicted by Nostradamus that we're supposed to be somewhere in the middle of World War III by now. Didn't happen. Mayan calendar 2012. Everyone claiming it was going to be the end of the world. Didn't happen. I'm not saying don't be prepared in case. There are people that have actually been inspired by The Walking Dead and stuff that actually have a zombie preparedness thing, but it's universal because it can actually go to preparing for all kind of things. Hurricane, natural disasters, pandemics, things like that. It's good to be prepared, but it's not good to live in fear of it. I believe in you. I believe in humanity. And if you're giving so much power over yourself to someone or something else, remember, you can take the power back. Go into it with a calm mind, an open mind. See what's going on. Don't become a ravenous monster or a savage animal that's nothing more than a human devolved into an illegal pit-fighting group of dogs. You're better than this. I'm not calling people stupid. I'm saying that people can make mistakes, and good people, even smart people, can sometimes do stupid things. Whatever happens in September or going into October, go into it with open eyes. Figure it out. Discuss it. But don't just give in to the fear-mongering. That's not cool. And it's not right. So to those that are talking about a comet falling from the heavens because God says so, fuck you. To the multimillionaires talking about the Jewish calendar is the perfect example that all hell is going to break loose, fuck you. And to everybody else, hopefully I'll see you at the end of all this. I'll be alright. So what do you guys think? Please like, comment, subscribe, share. Spread this around, man. Let's talk about it. Alright guys, I'm out of here. Dave signing out. Peace. Yum yum.